I walked into the conference room and tried to keep my breathing steady. Mark leaned close and whispered, "You look tense. Want me to handle the opening?" "No, I can do it," I said, even though my stomach twisted. Claire stood at the front of the room with a straight back and an icy gaze. "Everyone sit," she said. Her voice cut through the air. When her eyes locked on me, I felt the weight of the whole meeting drop on my shoulders. "Bring your proposal forward," she said. I stood, walked to the front, and placed the folder in her hand. "I believe the plan can increase our reach," and she opened the file, lifted a page, and interrupted me. "You believe? That is already a problem." I felt my chest tighten. "The data supports it. If you look at the second page." She raised the page and read a line out loud. "This is unclear. Did you expect the team to understand this without proper structure?" "I worked on it all week. I thought the team would see the direction," I said. She looked straight at me. "Thought is not enough. Direction is not enough. If you bring work like this to my table, you should be ready for consequences." Mark leaned forward from his seat. "Claire, the plan has strong parts." I reviewed it with him. Claire held up her hand. "I did not ask for approval from you. I am addressing him." I felt the room shrink around me. "Then tell me what needs to be fixed," I said. My voice shook, but I held her stare. "The entire plan needs rebuilding. Your structure is weak, your goal is unclear, and your approach lacks confidence." "That feels harsh," I said. She stepped closer. "Harsh is reality. If you cannot handle simple pressure, you should reconsider your position here." My fingers curled slightly. "I stay late every night to deliver quality. I take every task seriously." She nodded once. "Then take this seriously. Leave the proposal on the table and sit down." I stayed still for a moment. Mark whispered, "Just sit. She is pushing you too hard." I walked back to my seat, feeling every eye on me. Claire placed my proposal aside and began discussing the next project as if she had not just crushed mine. My hands shook under the table. I tried to hide it. When the meeting ended, people stood quickly, wanting to escape the tension. Mark hurried after me into the hallway. "Hey, slow down. That was rough. I need to get out of here," I said. "She went too far," he said. "Your plan was solid." "She did not even let me explain," I told him. "You should not take her words to heart. She talks like that to everyone." "No, she does not." I stepped into the elevator. "She saves that tone for me." He pressed the door open before it closed. "You know she expects perfection. Maybe she thinks pushing you harder means you can improve." "That is not pushing. That is humiliation," I said. Mark sighed. "What are you going to do now?" "I do not know. I just know something has to change." The elevator doors opened, and we walked through the lobby. Someone at the front desk greeted us, but I barely heard anything. Mark followed me outside. "Talk to me. Say something." "I am tired of being treated like I am invisible," I said. "I gave that plan everything I could." "I know you did," he said. "Everyone saw how many hours you put in." I looked at the sky, trying to breathe. Her words keep replaying in my head. "She does not see how hard you work. She sees the result and nothing else. That is the problem. She thinks I have no value," I said. "You have value," Mark said. "More than she knows." I rubbed my temples. "Maybe she thinks I will never speak up." "Then maybe this is the day you start," he said. His words cut through my frustration for a second. "I cannot stay in that building right now." "I get it," he said. "Do you want company or space?" "Space," I said. "I need to sort out my thoughts." He nodded slowly. "All right. Just call me if you need anything." I stepped away from him and walked to the edge of the street. My heart still pounded. The cold air hit my face, but did nothing to calm me. The embarrassment, the anger, the sting of being dismissed in front of everyone, all of it mixed inside me. I clenched my fists. "I will not forget this," I whispered to myself. For the first time, I felt something shift inside me. Not fear, not doubt, but a rising fire I had never felt before. I turned away from the building, knowing I would never walk back in the same person again. That I pushed open the door to the small break room and stepped inside. The lights were dim and the room was empty. I closed the door behind me and let out a long breath. My hands still shook from the meeting. I paced in circles as anger and shame mixed inside me. "I am tired of this," I said to myself. "I work hard every single day, and she treats me like I am nothing. I do everything she asks. I stay late. I push myself. And still she looks at me like I am a mistake." I gripped the edge of the counter. I am not invisible. I am not weak. I cannot keep letting her talk to me like that. I did not know you felt that strongly. My heart jumped. I spun around. Claire stood in the doorway. I had not heard the door open. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes searched my face as if trying to understand what she had walked into. You were listening, I said. I heard enough, she replied. You speak very boldly when you think no one can hear you. This was a private moment, I said. You were not supposed to be here. She stepped inside and closed the door behind her. You made it sound like I treat you unfairly. That is a serious accusation. You humiliated me in front of everyone, I said. I had to say something. She crossed her arms. You talk as if you expect special treatment. Why would you expect that from me? What exactly do you want from me? I do not want anything from you, I said. She tilted her head slightly. You act like someone who cares too much about my approval. Her words hit harder than I expected. That is not true. She raised an eyebrow. Then why did your tone sound so emotional? Because I am human, I said. Because your words hurt. She gave a small nod. So this is about feelings. This is about respect, I said. She stared at me for a moment, almost confused. You are frustrated because I critique your work. That is part of my role. There is critique, I said, and there is cutting someone down. Her eyes narrowed. Are you saying I went too far? Yes, I said without hesitation. She looked surprised by how quickly I answered. You have never spoken to me like this. You have never heard me like this, I said. Her gaze moved around the room as if she was searching for something to steady her thoughts. So what now? Do you want an apology? I want to be treated like I matter, I said. Not like a shadow standing in the corner. Before she could respond, Lily from HR stepped into the doorway. Oh, sorry. I did not know the room was taken. Claire turned her head sharply. This is a private talk. Lily looked at me. Are you all right? I am fine, I said. I tried to keep my voice steady. Lily gave me a careful nod and stepped back into the hall. Claire looked at me again. You have people watching out for you. I have people who see me, I said. That is the difference. She took a slow breath. You think I do not see you. You think I belittle you on purpose. That is how it feels, I said. She looked almost caught off guard by my honesty. You misunderstand me. I misunderstand nothing, I said. You never hold back. You never try to soften anything. You act like your words do not land. Her voice lowered. I speak directly because I have to. No, I said. You speak directly because you choose to. Her eyes flashed with something I could not read. So this is who you are when the door is closed. This is who I am when I stop pretending everything is fine. She studied me. You are not weak then. I never was, I said. Silence filled the room for a moment. She looked down at the counter. You caught me off guard. I think you expected me to stay quiet forever, I said. She looked up again. Maybe I did. Her honesty surprised me. For a moment, her cold edge faded, and I saw something uncertain in her expression. I do not know what you want from me, she said. I want you to see that your words have weight, I said, and that I am not here to chase after your approval. She shook her head slowly. You talk like I am the one who has wrong intentions. You misunderstand me, I said. I am not your enemy. She stepped back toward the door. We will continue this another time. I watched her leave. My heartbeat stayed loud in my ears. Something in the way she looked at me told me she saw a version of me she never expected. That realization stirred something deep inside me. If she thought I was weak, she knew nothing about me. And I felt the fire inside me grow stronger. She called me into her office the moment I arrived. Claire did not even look up from her screen as she said, I need the full financial review done by tonight. I stared at her because the file was huge. I asked, tonight as in before midnight. She replied, tonight as in before I walk out of this building. I held the folder tighter. That is impossible unless I stay here all day without a break. She finally looked at me and said, then stay. I nodded and walked out without another word. I started working immediately, typing nonstop. Mark walked by and asked, are you trying to break a world record? I said, Claire wants this today. He frowned. That is not normal. She never assigns this much to one person. I answered, maybe she trusts me now, or maybe she wants to test me. Mark sat beside me and whispered, I found something. Someone is editing reports after Claire signs them. I turned to him. Are you sure? He nodded. The edits make her look careless. Someone is trying to hit her position. My stomach tightened. Claire was tough, but she did not deserve sabotage. Hours passed. Claire came out once and saw me still typing. She said, you are still on that. I answered, I will finish it. She crossed her arms. Most people would have given up. I replied, I am not most people. She paused but said nothing and went back inside. By afternoon, Mark returned with more papers. He placed them on my desk and said, look at this. Every mistake is created after Claire approves the final copy. I whispered, she needs to know. Mark said, then tell her. You work closer to her. I took a deep breath and nodded. When she stepped out again, I approached her. Claire, I need to talk to you. She replied, make it quick. I said, someone is altering approved files. It makes your decisions look careless. Her eyes narrowed. And you think I would believe that? I said, I have proof. She nearly laughed. Or maybe you are trying to look like the hero so you can gain my trust. I answered, I am telling you because it hurts the company. She snapped, or maybe you want to blame others to hide your own mistakes. Her words hit harder than I expected. I said, I have never sabotaged anything. She replied, everyone says that before they are caught. I clenched my fists but forced myself to stay calm. Claire, look at the documents. She walked past me and said, get back to work. I do not have time for your theories. I returned to my desk, but something inside me refused to drop it. Even if she did not trust me, I could not watch her get framed. Mark tapped my shoulder and whispered, how did she take it? I said, she thinks I have an angle. Mark muttered, she is under pressure. I said, pressure or not, she deserved the truth. I spent the next hour studying patterns in the files. Strange details kept pointing toward the same person. A senior advisor named Jason Hale. I had only seen him a few times, but he always acted overly friendly. A little too smooth. While I was reviewing a set of emails, Jason appeared beside me with a smile. Working hard again. I answered, just doing what is needed. He leaned on my desk. Claire keeps everyone on their toes. I nodded slowly. She does that. Jason lowered his voice. If you ever feel she is asking for too much, come to me. I can make things easier. Something about his tone felt off. I asked, why would you do that for me? He said, I look after people who have potential. Then he walked away with the same calm smile. As soon as he left, Mark whispered from behind me, that man never talks to anyone without a reason. I agreed. Something about him felt planned. I looked at the altered files again, and the feeling only grew stronger. Later that evening, Claire came to check the progress. She asked, are you done? I handed her the completed report. She looked shocked. You actually finished it. I answered, you told me to. She flipped through the pages. Not a single error. She stared at me for a moment and said, why push yourself this hard? I replied, because I said I would finish it. She looked away. Do not expect praise for doing your job. I said, I did not ask for praise. She placed the file down and said, if you ever feel the work is too much, say it. I shook my head. I can manage. She hesitated as if she wanted to say something else, but did not. Then she walked back inside. Mark came over. Did she ease up? I said, hard to tell. He nodded. She has walls around her. People do not see what she carries. I asked, what do you mean? Mark replied, she went through rough times last year. Something hit her family hard. She changed after that. I sat back in my chair. The idea of her carrying hidden pain made the situation heavier. I knew I should walk away from the mess, but something inside me refused. Claire was being targeted. She would never admit it, and she would never accept help, but I could not let this break her. Not like this. I looked at Jason across the office and felt a cold certainty. Something was wrong with him, and I would find out what had I stayed late that night, trying to finish the last set of reports. The office was quiet, and only a few lights were still on. While printing a document, I heard footsteps near Claire's private room. I moved closer and saw Jason inside, going through her locked drawer. My heart raced. I whispered, what is he doing? He reached inside, grabbed a set of documents, and slipped them into his bag. I stepped back and hid behind a pillar. When he shut the drawer, I walked toward him. Jason, what are you doing here so late? He turned slowly and smiled. Just checking some proposals for tomorrow. I pointed at his bag. Those papers are not yours. He walked past me without fear. Claire trusts me. She gave me access. I said, no, she did not. His smile grew wider. And you think she will believe you over me? He tapped my shoulder once and walked away. Anger filled my chest. I went to Mark and said, Jason is taking files. Mark grabbed my arm. Are you sure? I said, I saw him with my own eyes. Mark shook his head. We need proof, or Claire will turn on us again. I said, then I will get it. I checked the security desk. Lily was sorting keys. She noticed me and asked, why are you still here? I answered, I need access to some old logs. She raised her eyebrow. You know I cannot give you that. I leaned closer. Lily, Jason is doing something behind Claire's back. She looked around, then whispered, "What do you need from me?" I said, "I need 10 minutes inside the archive room without questions." Lily exhaled. "Fine, I will distract the guard." She walked to the guard and started chatting loudly. I slipped inside the archive room and searched for the backup files. The room was cold, filled with file cabinets and old monitors. I powered one up and started digging through old emails and reports. I found several messages between Jason and an unknown contact. One line made my heartbeat stop. He wrote, "Once Claire falls, the board will move in my favor." I whispered, "He wants the company." I kept scrolling and saw another message. "Make sure the reports look like her mistakes. She will break under pressure." I copied everything onto a drive. As I did, Lily called from the door. "Hurry, he is coming back." I shut everything and rushed out. Lily asked, "Did you get what you needed?" I nodded. "Thank you." She said, "Be careful. Men like him do not lose quietly." I walked back to my desk and stared at the folder in my hand. The truth felt heavy. Claire had treated me harshly, doubted me, insulted me. I should have dropped this and gone home, but something inside kept pushing. I whispered, "She has no idea what is coming." As I sat there thinking, someone tapped my shoulder. I turned and saw a woman I had never met. She had calm eyes and a gentle presence. She said, "You must be the one working with Claire lately." I nodded. "Who are you?" She replied, "I am Sarah, her older sister." She noticed the stress on my face and asked, "Are you all right?" I said, "It is nothing." She studied me for a moment and said, "Claire can be difficult. She carries more than she shows." I asked, "Is she always like this?" Sarah shook her head. "She became colder after last year. She lost something important and built walls to survive." I asked, "Does she trust Jason?" Sarah sighed. "Too much. He has been around the family for years." I clenched my jaw. "That is a problem." She looked at me carefully. "Why do you say that?" I hesitated but answered, "Because he is planning something against her." Sarah stared at me, trying to understand if I was serious. She said, "You need to be careful with accusations." I held up the drive. "This is not an accusation." Sarah stood still, shocked. "If what you are saying is true, you need to tell her." I laughed bitterly. "She will not believe me. She thinks I am trying to impress her." Sarah stepped closer. "Then show her the truth and let her decide." I walked back to my desk after she left, still holding the drive. Mark appeared again and asked, "Did you find anything?" I handed him the drive. "Look for yourself." He plugged it in and read the emails. His face turned pale. "This is serious. He wants her position," I said, "and he almost has everything he needs." Mark asked, "What are you going to do now?" I looked toward Claire's office door, still lit from inside. I said, "I do not know. She will think I am trying to sabotage her." Mark replied, "Then show her anyway. It is her right to know." I breathed out slowly. "Maybe." I walked to her office but stopped at the door. I heard her voice inside. She was talking to someone on the phone, sounding worn out. She said, "I am trying my best. I cannot fail again." That one word again echoed in my head. I lowered my hand and stepped back. I whispered, "Not tonight." She would not hear me through the noise of her worries. But I knew something had changed. The power was shifting. I held the drive tightly and walked away, feeling the truth burn in my pocket. I stepped into Claire's office, holding the drive tightly. She looked up from her desk, her expression cold as always. "You again," she said. "Do you have more complaints?" "No complaints," I said. "I have something you need to see." I set the drive down and opened it. This shows Jason taking files and planning moves against the company. Her eyes flickered briefly, but her face stayed impassive. "And why would I trust you over him?" "Because I have proof," I said. "He has been altering reports to make mistakes look like your fault." I handed her the first email. She scanned it slowly. "This cannot be real," she said, her voice tight. "Are you telling me he is betraying me?" "Yes," I said. "I followed him, got all the emails, and even tracked the changes in the reports. He thinks you will never find out." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "Why are you doing this for me?" she asked, her tone sharp but a flicker of confusion showing. "I could not watch someone destroy what you built," I said. "I know you have treated me harshly, but I cannot let this happen." She looked at me for a long moment, almost studying me. After everything I've said and done, her voice trailed. "Why would you care?" I swallowed hard. "Because some things are bigger than me or you. This company, it deserves protection. You deserve a chance to stop him before it's too late." Her hands clenched on the desk. I do not know how to respond to this, she admitted quietly. For the first time, her voice lost its usual sharp edge. At that moment, Sarah stepped into the office. Claire, she said calmly, I have suspected Jason for months. He has been too helpful, too smooth, and I did not trust him. He was planning against you. Claire's eyes widened. Sarah, she said, you knew? Yes, Sarah said. I could not act without proof, but I recognized the signs. Claire turned back to me, her expression shifting. You risked a lot coming to me with this, she said softly. After how I treated you. I looked down for a moment. I did it because it was right, I said. Not because I wanted your approval. I just could not watch this happen. Her shoulders relaxed slightly. I thank you, she said. The words sounded almost foreign. It was softer than anything she had ever said to me. I nodded. We should secure the system and make sure no one else tampers with files, I said. Daniel can help with the access logs if needed. Claire frowned. Daniel? Yes, I said. He can verify the changes without revealing sources. He's the IT manager. He won't take sides, but he can confirm the proof. Bring him in, she said. She glanced at me, her eyes sharper now, but less guarded. I need to see that this is real. I called Daniel, and he came in quickly. He connected his laptop to the network and ran the logs. Here, he said, pointing. The changes match the timestamps and the emails. Nothing is missing. Everything you have is accurate. Claire leaned back in her chair, her face finally showing cracks of shock and worry. I cannot believe he would do this, she whispered. You believed him more than me, I said quietly. But now you see the truth. Her eyes softened. Yes, she admitted. I see the truth. And I see you differently now. I felt something shift in the room. The cold distance she always carried softened, just slightly. For the first time, I realized she was beginning to trust me, even if only a little. Thank you, she said again, this time directly looking at me. I should have listened sooner. I nodded. It's not too late to fix it. Let's stop him before he does more damage. She exhaled and leaned back. Agreed. And I will trust you from now on. That will have to be enough for now. I felt a quiet satisfaction. The fire inside me had grown, but now it was tempered by a new understanding. She saw me as more than a shadow, and that made all the difference. The next morning, the tension in the office was palpable. I walked in carrying the drive and saw Mark waiting. Everything ready? He asked. I nodded. Claire needs to see this before anyone else gets involved. I found her in the boardroom. She looked tired but focused. You said it's serious, she said. Show me. I connected the drive and let the emails and altered reports display on the screen. Her eyes widened as she scrolled. So this is real, she whispered. Yes, I said. Jason has been manipulating files to make you look incompetent. She leaned back. I never expected this. Before I could say more, Jason stormed in. What is this? He demanded. Are you accusing me of something I did not do? I stood straight. The evidence is here. You can see it for yourself. He laughed, sharp and false. You made this up. You were trying to get Claire to notice you. That is all. I felt the old weight of fear, but it did not stop me. I am not lying. Check the logs. Check the emails. Claire's voice cut through the room. He is telling the truth, Jason. I saw the proof myself. Stop denying it. Jason's eyes flicked to her. You believe him? I do, she said firmly. I misjudged him before, but not this time. He turned to me. You tricked her. You manipulated the evidence. I shook my head. I just collected what was already there. Daniel confirmed every change. You deleted files, Jason. You left a trail. At that moment, Daniel entered quietly with a laptop. Here, he said. I recovered deleted files. Every single alteration points to Jason. Nothing was fabricated. The emails, the timestamps, everything matches the evidence. Jason's confident stance faltered. He ran his hands through his hair. This is impossible. I thought I covered everything. Grace Nolan, a board member, stepped forward. We need to review all of this carefully. Claire, can we trust this data? Claire nodded. Yes. Daniel verified everything. And he has the deleted files as well. Grace studied Jason for a moment. Do you have an explanation? Jason's mouth opened and closed. This is a misunderstanding. He wanted to make me look bad. He glared at me. It was his plan all along. I held his gaze. I only gathered proof, Jason. I did not create it. The evidence speaks for itself. Claire spoke again. He is right. You have been planning against the company. I should have seen it sooner. I misjudged him. Jason took a step back. You believed him over me? Yes, Claire said. Not because I doubt your skills, but because your actions show your intentions. I felt a quiet satisfaction as I watched his confidence crumble. He had always acted untouchable, but now he looked small in front of everyone. Grace turned to Claire. You handled this well. Your decision to listen to him shows judgment. And to the rest of us, it proves who is trustworthy. Claire looked at me. For a moment, I thought she would remain cold, but her eyes softened. I misjudged you. I should have seen your capabilities sooner. I am sorry for treating you like you were less than you are. I nodded, swallowing the mix of relief and pride. Thank you. That means a lot. Jason looked around, realizing everyone was turning against him. This is not over, he hissed. Grace stepped closer. It is over for now. The board sees the truth, and your plan has failed. Claire exhaled, leaning back. I underestimated him. I misread his intentions and his strength. She looked at me with something I had never seen. Respect. I finally understood the shift. The person who once dismissed me, who mocked my ideas, who thought I was weak, now saw me as capable. I did not need her praise, but her acknowledgement felt like the first real validation I had ever received. Jason glared at me one last time and stormed out. Claire watched him leave and turned back to me. From now on, I will trust your judgment, even if only a little. You have earned it. I nodded. I will not let you down. For the first time, I felt the balance of power in the office change. I was no longer invisible. I was no longer the weak one. And Claire knew it. The boardroom was tense when I arrived. Jason sat at the head of the table, his usual confident smirk in place. Grace Nolan began, without hesitation. Mr. Hale, we have gathered evidence of your actions against the company. Are you willing to explain yourself? Jason leaned back. I am confident there has been some misunderstanding. Perhaps someone wants to make me look bad. I spoke before anyone could react. The evidence is clear. The altered files, the deleted emails, and your own communications show your intent. Jason's eyes narrowed. You set this up? I did nothing but collect the proof, I said. Daniel verified every change. Claire knows the truth, and now the board does too. Grace interjected firmly. Jason, the proof includes logs, timestamps, and witness statements. Can you deny this? Jason swallowed hard. I cannot. But Claire, you know me. We've worked closely for years. Claire leaned forward, her posture firm. I trusted you, Jason, but your actions prove otherwise. You tried to destroy what I built, and you betrayed everyone here. He tried again, softer this time. Claire, we can fix this. You do not have to let them. Let him. His eyes shot toward me. You do not have to believe him over me. I looked back calmly. I do not need your approval. I only gathered proof and made sure you could not harm anyone else. Jason's face twisted with frustration. You think you are strong. You think you can outsmart me. You do not understand what is at stake. Grace cut in, her tone decisive. Jason, the board sees the truth. Your plan is over. All of your manipulations are documented. You have no escape. Jason's confident mask cracked. His voice rose. You cannot just destroy my reputation. I built relationships here. People will still follow me. One by one, the colleagues he had influenced shook their heads or remained silent. The realization hit him. His allies had abandoned him. Claire's eyes were cold, unwavering. Jason, I will not let you manipulate anyone else. You have lost my trust and the board's trust. That is final. Jason looked around the room, desperation flashing in his eyes. You cannot leave me like this. Claire, please, I said no, she interrupted. Her voice was steady and resolute. I will not let you hurt this company or anyone else again. He turned toward me, anger boiling. And you ruined everything for me. I met his gaze without fear. I did what was right. Your plans fail because you underestimated people, and you underestimated me. He sank back into his chair, defeated. The color drained from his face. I have lost everything, he muttered. I felt a strange mix of relief and sadness. The man who once seemed untouchable had been exposed, yet the fall left a bitter weight in my chest. Grace spoke again. The board will decide on the final actions, but your role here is over, Mr. Hale. Jason's shoulders slumped. He avoided looking at Claire again, and finally, his gaze fell on me. His eyes burned with anger, but it no longer frightened me. I had seen the truth, and I had acted on it. After the board meeting, Claire asked me to step aside in her office. She closed the door behind me and said, "I never expected someone like you to save this company and my legacy." I shrugged. It was the right thing to do. She studied me quietly. "You have courage, I misjudged. I thought you were timid, someone who would never stand up when it mattered." I looked down, feeling the weight of her words. I just could not watch it fall apart. Claire stepped closer, her expression softer. "You surprised me, and I think I see you differently now. Not just as an employee, but as someone who can be trusted." I felt a fragile shift between us, a sense of connection that had never existed before. "I will not let you down," I said quietly. She nodded. "I know you won't. And that makes all the difference." I walked out of her office afterward, carrying a quiet sense of victory. Jason was gone from his place of power, and the company was safe for now. But more than that, something inside Claire and me had changed. I was no longer the weak one, and she had finally seen me that I arrived at the office early, the air feeling different than before. The tension from Jason's schemes had lifted, and the company seemed to breathe again. I poured myself a coffee and reviewed some reports, but a knock at the door pulled my attention. "Come in," I heard Claire say. I stepped into her office. She was sitting behind her desk, but her posture was less rigid. Her eyes met mine with a softness I had never seen before. "Sit down," she said. I took the chair across from her. "Morning," I said, unsure of where this would go. She nodded and leaned back slightly. "I wanted to talk to you about everything." I raised an eyebrow. "Everything?" She exhaled slowly. "All the times I belittled you, dismissed your work, or made you feel like you were invisible. I have been thinking about it." I felt my chest tighten. "You mean it?" "Yes," she said quietly. "I realize now how my words affected you. I see how strong you have been, even when I made it hard for you." I shook my head slightly. "You never made it easy, that's true. But I understand why you acted the way you did. You carry a lot of weight." Claire's eyes softened further. "I do, but that doesn't excuse my treatment of you. I want to start again, with honesty. No walls, no pretense." I felt an unfamiliar warmth in my chest. "I am ready for that," I said. "Not as someone beneath you, but as someone you can trust." She smiled faintly, a small curve that made her look almost human. "You have earned that trust more than anyone else here." I hesitated. I never needed praise. I only wanted to be seen for who I am. For you to see what I can do. Her gaze lingered on me, and I could tell she understood. "I misjudged you. I thought you were timid, someone I could push aside. But you were patient, careful, and brave. You protected this company even when I didn't notice." I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. "It wasn't about approval," I said. "It was about doing what was right. And I couldn't just watch things fall apart." She leaned forward, resting her arms on the desk. "You surprised me. I never expected someone like you to act so selflessly. And now I see you clearly." I swallowed hard. I've always wanted to be seen for my actions, not just my words. That moment finally came when you started trusting me. Her lips curved into a fuller smile this time. "Then let's move forward together. I want to lead differently now, with openness and honesty. And I want you to continue standing by my side." I nodded slowly. "I will. Not as someone under you, but as someone who stands with you." "I can do that." Claire studied me, her eyes steady. "You know, I've always admired people who stand up even when it's hard. I did not see that in you at first, but I do now. I think I underestimated your resilience." I leaned back, feeling an odd mixture of relief and pride. Underestimating me doesn't bother me anymore. I'm more interested in the future than the past. She laughed softly, a sound rare and genuine. "Good. Then we are on the same page. I will not hide behind my walls, and you will not shrink in mine. We will be honest with each other." I nodded, feeling the tension I had carried for months finally ease. "Exactly. That is all I wanted." Claire's expression softened even more. "You have changed me in ways I didn't expect. I never thought someone could make me look at myself differently and at the same time earn my trust." I felt my chest tighten again. "And you have changed me too. Seeing the real you, beyond the ice, has shown me that strength and vulnerability can coexist. That's why I stayed." She reached over and lightly tapped the edge of my folder on the desk. "I see you now. All of you. And I want us to move forward with that understanding." I took a deep breath, emotions flooding me. "I am ready." Her eyes met mine one last time before she turned back to her papers. But the way she looked at me stayed with me, clear and unwavering. For the first time, I felt fully acknowledged, fully trusted and fully seen. In that moment, I realized something had shifted forever. The past pain, the betrayals, and the struggles had shaped us. And now, quietly, something deeper was beginning to grow, built on truth, respect, and the strength we had discovered in each other.